Hello, welcome to another edition of What is Happening in Brazil. On our show, you learn about the latest news from the country as well as curiosity facts about our culture. Check out what happened this past week.
On May 1st, International Workers' Day, Brazilian workers don't have much to celebrate. Since 2016, they have lost many of their rights. These measures have worsened since the beginning of last year, when Jair Bolsonaro's ultra-right-wing government took office. Even before the pandemic, in November of 2019, informal labor positions hit their highest level since 2012, representing 41.4% of the labor force, or 38 million people. Besides this, the year ended with roughly 12 million Brazilians out of work and sluggish economic growth. In October of 2019, the Social Security reforms proposed by President Jair Bolsonaro were approved, making it even more difficult for workers to retire, and in practice will make them have to work much longer to be entitled to full compensation. Amid the crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic, the government, who should support workers and the most vulnerable in society, has yet again positioned itself on the side of bankers and businesses. One of the measures that was approved allows for the reduction of salaries and the suspension of contracts. Another example is the emergency basic income. The sum approved to rescue bankers is 20 times higher than what is being offered to the 54 million Brazilians who stand to benefit from the first phase of the law. Unions, on the other hand, are uniting with deeds of solidarity. May 1st celebrations will be virtual so as to avoid large gatherings. The Unified Act has as its motto, health, jobs, and income. A new world is possible through solidarity.
In today's Culture Talk, you get to know the Samba Gives Culture group. They play every month in a poor community in the south side of São Paulo, except, of course, nowadays during the coronavirus pandemic. It is important to remember that these images were recorded before social isolation measures recommended by the World Health Organization. In their shows, the group plays traditional samba by revered artists, but also their own work. The group has been around for more than 16 years. Let's have a look.
Em cada canto da cidade tem uma favela que não tem beleza nem riqueza também. Tem bocado de povo esquecido representando o inferno colorido.
A tiny detail in the name sets the tone for this group of artists. In Portuguese, samba da cultura and samba da cultura is a wordplay between the expressions samba giving culture and samba being cultural, signified by a tiny difference in the pronunciation of the word da.
The tiny accent on the A changes the meaning from being made of to giving. We say this because where we perform is a place that is really lacking information, culture access. So we try to bring this with our samba, show a little bit of the people's culture, that samba is part of mass culture.
Samba é a cultura do povo.
Here, the Samba Gives Culture Society performs traditional samba by revered artists, but also their own work. The performances are held since 2006, but this group has been in samba circles for decades. Some of their members were born in these circles.
Começou aqui, a gente tá...
It started here. We used it to make samba in this yard here. I was a child. My brother used it to do samba circles with my cousins and friends. And we came up with the idea, after a few years, to start Samba Gives Culture, to go back to our roots, with those samba circles we used to do.
The important thing in this group, which is more than a family, is the commitment to art as a vector for transformation. Those who feel the prejudice of inequality on their skin can't help it but bring their afflictions, their fears, their dreams of change into their art.
Samba is also protest music.
My great-grandfather was a slave. For sure, These few generations that have gone by haven't been enough to show that we must have racial equality.
Though the government has approved emergency-based income from poorer population during the pandemic, many people are still having trouble accessing the money. Beyond that, the amount of 600 reais, which correspond to around $120, is considered insufficient for a great deal of people. Faced with this scenario, those who suffer most are those living in the ghettos, especially women living in these areas. Besides historically holding precarious and informal jobs, the majority of them are responsible for maintaining the households which they had. According to data from the Favela Data Institute, 1 in 3 ghetto residents will have difficulties buying food during the pandemic.
Tá difícil, muito difícil.
It's been hard, very hard. I used to work at 3 different homes, one with a child, so the lady let me go. Another one I worked at had 2 elderly residents. I was also let go. The other was someone with low immunity, so I can't go. So I've been home since March 19th. I've been home. I'm going to need this money because the bills keep coming. And where will I get it to pay them?
E de onde que vai tirar?
Hoje você acordou, amanhã você não pode trabalhar.
It was pretty scary because all of a sudden I couldn't work. So I stopped and thought about it. I paid the bills for March, but in April God will provide. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'm trying to figure something out since we unfortunately have no savings. No one does.
Aqui no Grajaú, as pessoas...
Here in this area, people are already facing the quick rise in poverty. We had already been facing some serious problems. With this coronavirus crisis, this became even worse, because now the women can't even go outside to sell their snacks at the bus stop or water at the traffic light. The help we provide is basically for food, to give them the minimum to survive at home, since they can't leave to work. They should stay at home, right? And at least not be hungry. That's the word, that they don't go hungry.
Usually things get visibility when they happen downtown. In the central areas, the media give it visibility. The government sees things differently at the large centers too. In the ghetto, we are on the margins, hidden. No one sees it. They stay invisible.
As always, in today's Brazilianism, good food and good music.
Put the oil, onion, green bell pepper and tomato in a pan and braise it. Add the saffron, then the chopped yam and water. Add salt and put a lid on the pan. Cook until soft and add parsley.
That is all for today, folks. See you next time.